Good evening one and all, and welcome back to the DBP Pest Control channel. Tonight I'm out after rabbits with the 22 LR, and I've got a little piece of new kit to test, but I'll show you that in just a minute. Well, I mentioned a new piece of kit, and as many of you might remember, looking at my old videos, my go-to ratting setup is normally some form of hawk scope with the Pard NV7V or SP on the back, and it serves really well. I thought I'd treat myself, and I've gone out and bought a Pard DS35 LRF. Now this is the one with the ballistic calculator in it, so it's got IR, although I'm using my supplementary IR torch just to give the battery a little bit of a rest in the Pard. And it's also got a rangefinder on it, which is tied in electronically with an onboard ballistic calculator, which isn't in fact dissimilar to something like chair gun. It's just that it's built in. So I took this down to the woods the other day. I've zeroed it at 60 meters, so I know it's bob on. Now I haven't been here for some months, if I'm honest, so I'm expecting quite a lot of rabbit activity. So without further ado, I'm going to shift myself over there and have a scan round with my Pulsar Axion 30, see what I can see, and we'll get cracking on them. This is the Vanguard tripod that I featured in my last video. I've used it a couple of times since then. It's been really good, I have to say. So hopefully the combination will do well this evening, but that remains to be seen. Right, let's go. So that's numbers 3 and 4 in the bag there, rather 4 and 5 I should say, out at about just over 100 meters. Now I have to say, so far the Pard is exceptional. It's really good. I have missed shots here in the past due to the fact that range is notoriously difficult to judge at night. The rangefinder that I was using was a fairly cheapish one, didn't always get it right, so I did miss 1 or 2 shots now and again. But I have to say, in the time I've used this, which has literally been this evening, bar my zeroing in the woods, I'm very taken with it, very pleased indeed. But fantastic piece of kit. So I'm going to go and pick those 2 up and maybe take the opportunity and just have a walk along that wood line there to see if there are any more up there. That's number 16. I just took a bit of footage of the badgers. There's at least 3 here on site. They're currently ferreting around over there, grubbing around for worms and stuff. Right, well, I think I'm going to call it a night now. 16 is a good number. It's getting fairly late now, so I think I'll head home. So once again, thank you for joining me. This is Doug Boyce signing off for DBP Pest Control. We'll see you again soon. Bye now. Well, before I really go, I thought I couldn't go without giving you some insight into some real world experience with this Pard DS35 70 LRF. Now, great piece of kit. So now normally on that permission I would expect to miss 3 or 4 shots, purely because it's difficult to judge range accurately at night, notoriously so. And I found that the onboard ballistic calculator on this was really useful, very good. I didn't miss any shots by virtue of using the ballistic calculator. I did miss one, but that was down to me, I'm afraid. So overall, big thumbs up to Pard. There's nothing I don't really like about it. One of the things I did find a little bit tricky getting used to is this throw lever here for the focus. Now, if you've been used to using the add-ons, you've got this little fine focus wheel here on the SP, and on the older models you've got this focus ring here, which do afford you very fine control over your focus. Now, you can get good focus with this, but what I found was, in the heat of the moment, you tend to overcook it, and then you have to bring it back again. You overcook it the other way, and then you've got to bring it back again. So you've got to be a little bit finer with this lever. It doesn't offer quite as much fine control as the rotary controls on the other ones, but that's just something you have to get used to, and I'm sure I will. The other thing I found was the IR, the onboard IR, is not quite as far reaching as maybe one would have hoped for. They say 100 meters plus, but in truth, for the quality of image that I'm looking for, I found that the IR on the add-ons, even the old one, the original NV7P, is probably a bit better than it is on the DS. Now, I suspect, I think I've read somewhere or heard in a video review that they've had to change the quality or type of IR emitter because of regulations, okay, and that might have something to do with it. Perfectly fine if you're using it for ratting distances, maybe out to 50-60 meters. Some people might argue 100 meters. At 100 meters I found it a little bit dim, a little bit on the dull side. So for my money, I would always do what I normally do, and use a fairly good quality add-on. This particular one here is one I bought years ago. I think it's the, let's have a look, see what it is. I'll give you some add-on tips here. This is actually the lead ray tracer, F900. I found that quite good, and that's just a plain old infrared LED emitter. The one I was using the other night was this one, which is the Night Saber, and this comes, I believe I bought that from Optics Warehouse. I think it's their own brand. It is a laser, and it can overcook the image a little bit sometimes, but yeah, it's usable. So overall, great piece of kit. I'm going to leave this one mounted on my 22LR, just to save, you know, upsetting it and having to re-zero and all that good stuff, because I do use this rifle quite a lot on the rabbits because it's nice and quiet using 22 subsonic ammo. It's great. And I'll probably look at getting another one perhaps for swapping between my air rifles, because I really like that ballistic calculator feature. It works really well. Okay, so I think that's all I've got to say regarding this. So if you're thinking about buying one, don't hold back, go and get one. Now, just as an added tip, I did, when I went down to buy some ammunition from my go-to gun store, it's down in Wiltshire, Dauncey Guns, I don't know if you know them, but they're the only people that I know of that actually stock 22 Hornet. So it's a nice trip down there. I was born down that way, so it's nice to go back occasionally. I went down there the other week, picked up some Hornet, and they had on display a competitor to this, and he said, I picked it up, I said, oh, this is warm. He said, oh yeah, somebody's just been using it. So he said, what have you bought? And I said, oh, I've just bought the DS35. And he said, don't look through that. And I said, why? Spoilers? He said, it was a 4K unit, 4K image. The Pards are 2K. Yes, there is a difference. Whether it's sufficient of a difference to warrant twice the weight, I'll leave it up to you. I won't tell you what it was. Maybe I will. This is what I've gone for. Quite happy with it. All right. There are 4K versions out there, and that alone will probably tell you what it was. But it was twice as heavy, a bit bulkier on the front end. So I'm quite happy I went for this in the end. Right. So I really am going now. So till next time, this is Doug Boyce signing off for DBP Pest Control. See you again soon. Bye now.